Coming up on Action 11 News tonight, a wrecking ball will finish what a fire started in some buildings downtown. And a cleanup puts the Falls Fountain back in business.
Indiana lawmakers are in budget overtime. We'll have a live report from Indianapolis, Chuck Taylor's boat race day forecast, and no tips, no waiting for this Derby event. The 5:30 Action 11 News is next.
In 1987, we squared off against Burger King and won. Best tasting, best quality. In 88, we ran rings around McDonald's, beating them 2-1. So who has the best tasting hamburgers in 89?
Wendy's. Wendy's.
Wendy's.
In Kentuckiana and across the country, it's Wendy's again. The best hamburgers in the business.
Come celebrate our victory. Now you can get our quarter-pound single for just 99 cents. So come in today and try Wendy's winning taste for only 99 cents.
You got another Diet Pepsi?
More people are moving to Diet Pepsi. A generation ahead.
Under Toro's total coverage guarantee, every single part of this rider is guaranteed for 2 years or we'll pick it up and fix it free. So, if it doesn't start, that's our problem. If it quits running, that's our problem. In fact, if even the littlest thing goes wrong, that's our problem. That, on the other hand, is your problem. For details about the total coverage guarantee, see these Toro dealers.
Now, Melissa Forsythe, Frank Hudson, Gene West, Chuck Taylor with the 5:30 Action 11 News. Next on WHAS TV.
Good evening, friends. I'm Frank Hudson.
And I'm Melissa Forsythe. City building inspectors have spent the day securing and preparing for demolition what's left of the old Savoy Theater and 3 adjoining buildings. Susan Sweeney reports the 3-alarm fire that gutted the Savoy means the historic structures will come down a little sooner than planned.
By the time firefighters arrived at the scene shortly before midnight, flames were shooting through the roof of the Savoy. Within an hour, the fire had destroyed this historic building. In its heyday 50 years ago, the Savoy drew some of the biggest acts around, but it has stood empty and deteriorating following its last years, and the Savoy and adjoining buildings were slated for demolition. This morning, as firefighters doused hot spots in the roof of the Savoy, the investigation continued. There have been numerous fires in downtown buildings in recent weeks, although most of those have involved vacant buildings. The only occupied buildings were those on Market Street just over a week ago. And investigators do believe they are arson, but they do not believe at this time that they are connected.
The fires have been set in various locations. There's not any one particular thing we can lay our hand on. We're not ruling out the possibility of one person, but right now we don't think so.
The city now is seeking emergency demolition of at least part of the block, knocking down the facade of the Savoy.
So we don't have any situation of a facade collapsing and actually tumbling out onto Jefferson Street. Once that portion is done and the area is barricaded, it may be that we can proceed with the project as if the fire never happened.
Workers also have been cautioned about the asbestos in some of the building.
The area is wet down, a lot of it is collapsed, and we may have to get with EPA on how we deal with the removal of some of that rubble from those damaged buildings.
The city is working with contractors now, and officials hope to have the initial demolition taken care of by the weekend. Susan Sweeney for the 5:30 Action 11 News.
The Indiana General Assembly has just begun a special session aimed at deciding on a state budget for the next 2 years. Action 11 Sam Wyatt is with SATCAM now in Indianapolis, and he joins us with a live update. Hi, Sam.
Well, Frank, about a half hour ago, lawmakers plunged into this first special session.
And the big holdup, of course, is the $18 billion state budget and how they'll fund public schools. Republicans want 7% of the money to come from the state and 5% to come from local taxes. Democrats want 6% to come from the state and 6% to come from local taxes. You might ask yourself, what's the difference in a couple of percent? Well, it has a big effect on how much Hoosiers pay in property taxes.
Well, the Republicans are basically a little bit disappointed. We think that the school funding commitment should be a bit higher than it is, and we think that the commitment to local property taxes should be a bit lower. But I'm afraid that we're getting down to the final hours here. We're probably going to have to make some concessions that we're not terribly happy with.
I've taught school for 23 years, and I believe in education and believe in its importance. However, you can't be a senator up here without realizing there are lots of good programs, mental health, the arts, all kinds of things that depend on funding from us. So I'm not greedy about it, but I do think education is important.
There's been some speculation about a one-day special session, but there are 18 bills that lawmakers have to plod through, and it looks like they're going to be here for some time, at least 3 days. And it's costing about $25,000 a day. Live with SATCAM at the Indiana State Capitol in Indianapolis, Sam Wyatt for the 5:30 Action 11 News.
Shaping up to be quite a battle. Thanks, Sam.
The people-pleasing Louisville Falls Fountain will resume its light and water show tonight. The fountain has been unclogged in time for the rest of Derby Week, as Paula Campbell reports.
Working round the clock since the weekend, engineers have been demucking the Falls Fountain's pumping mechanisms, trying to get it back into operation.
One of the things they're trying to do is backflush, and they don't want to have to take the pipes apart manually, and so they're cleaning out the systems, the cooling system and all the whole systems, really. All the screens are being washed.
High water and river debris clog special nozzles on the fountain, forcing waterfront development directors to shut the fountain down, with the fear that the fountain would be a complete washout for Derby Week. But engineers were able to clear away enough debris to turn the fountain on in time for tonight's fireworks display.
The spray nozzles that are along the rim, which camouflage the barge itself, will not be on. They might not be on until the river subsides. And they were the ones that really did get blocked up and caused a lot of the problems. So they might keep those off until a future time.
The fountain will be off again tomorrow morning for more repairs, but officials plan to have the fountain in operation by the time the Delta Queen faces off with the Belle of Louisville. Paula Campbell for the 5:30 Action 11 News.
And there is another big question that needs an answer tonight. What will we find on the 4th Street Wharf tomorrow on Steamboat Race Day? Elaine Leib found out Derby Festival planners are struggling with that very question as we speak.
With 2/3 of the brick, mortar, and concrete in place, Derby Festival planners watched the river rise. The Belle of Louisville lost the luxury of the wharf apron boarding over the weekend, and with it went the large viewing area for Boat Race Day.
It anticipated the pedestrians to be able to come across the stairwell and use the wharf. And in fact, all the construction was planned so that we finished the wharf side first and push back so there'd be this clear chute through here. Well, now that the water's up over the wharf, you've got a situation where pedestrian traffic coming out of the chow wagon is coming down here and finding a dead end because there's no place for them to go, and so you got to wrestle with how do you get the people to understand they need to really stay along the south side of River Road where they're sidewalking until they get all the way down to 3rd Street and use 3rd Street, because there is adequate pedestrian access.
Pedestrians can make their way to the downtown riverfront by car, but it's expected River Road access will be difficult at best. TARC will shuttle people, same as they're doing for the chow wagon. Trolley buses will pick up passengers on 4th Street. The 10-cent TARC shuttle at 4th and Main will take you to the riverfront. The only possible snag on Steamboat Day seems to be the floating debris and a swift current. But Belle of Louisville Captain Mike Fitzgerald doesn't share the concern of some.
Most of the large, big drift has gone through, but we do have a concern. We always watch for drift in high water.
So the stage is set and it's a go for the 27th running of the Great Steamboat Race. Post time, 5 p.m. Elaine Leib for the 5:30 Action 11 News.
With corkscrew in hand, more than 100 local waiters and waitresses were called to the post today for the annual Run for the Rosé. And as usual, there were plenty of thrills and spills. The object is to make it around the courthouse race course in the fastest time without spilling the wine. Good luck.
I hit the wall with my tray and lost everything.
You lost all your drinks?
All my drinks. I tried to suck it off the tray, but I couldn't.
Did you go ahead and complete the race?
Yes, I did, but I did climb over some of the barricades to get back to the finish line. It was a lot longer this year.
Well, you know what they say. Better luck next year.
Thank you. I'll need it.
The men and women ran separately. That's Kelly Davis of Angelo's leading the pack. Up and down the courthouse steps, and that could make a girl.
Consider we're going to have a great time.
Hundreds lined the race course on Jefferson Street, the smell of corn dogs and bratwurst thick in the air, as the band played on. When the smoke had cleared, 2 rosé runners had won trips to Florida.
Our women's champions from Angelo's, Kelly Davis.
Came in 5th last year, and I'm waiting to come in 1st this year.
All right. Good for you.
Stay up here now. Don't go away, Kelly. Hang around.
And our men's champ, you're going to be really surprised to hear this. The men's champ, he's been here before, from Casa Grisani, Philip Holtznick.
We're going to Disney World. We're going to Disney World.
There was one inquiry today, a dispute in the celebrity race. County Clerk Jim Pop Malone finished ahead of radio personality Terry Miners, but Malone was found to have taped his glasses to his tray.
Well, there may be an inquiry, but there was nothing in the rules about that. You know, it's just like the Delta Queen and the Bella Louisville. Anything goes.
And the wine this year was Chateau Saint Michel. That is a blush wine. Close enough, I guess. Coming up next on the 5:30 Action 11 News, a blushing forecast from Chuck Taylor.
But first, here's a look at some of the Derby Festival events on tap for tonight.
Good afternoon, Dad.
Not today. Keep your hands off the fender.
You know Chevron has a new 93-octane gasoline?
Oh, that's nice.
Well, it's got Tetraline and,
Is that right?
Dad, we both know nothing's better at keeping valves clean.
Oh, really? All right. Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, introducing 93-octane Chevron Supreme with Tetraline. Nothing's better at keeping valves clean.
3 hours.
Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
Boston's Old North Church, that signaled Paul Revere's ride. The beauty of this great American interior has been maintained for over 14 years with Sears Easy Living paint. Today, repainting has created a small dilemma, choosing from 900 of the best covering decorator colors it's ever come in. Sears Easy Living paint, preferred by more homeowners for great American homes like yours.
Did Aristotle Onassis pay millions to marry Jackie Kennedy? A new bestseller says he did in the Inside Stories on Entertainment Tonight.
Tonight at 7.
A fire forced the evacuation of the Neo Woods Product Company this afternoon. When firefighters arrived, they found smoke and flame pouring from a sawdust collector outside the building. They quickly brought the blaze under control but evacuated the building. They were concerned that the fire would make its way inside through a pipe that ran from the collector into the building. No one was injured. An autopsy was being performed in Frankfurt today on the 7-year-old girl whose body was found yesterday. The victim, Jennifer Isle, had been missing a week and a half from her Covington home. Her decomposed body was found yesterday in an abandoned building. The little girl disappeared April 21st on her way to play with a friend who lived a block away.
In Frankfurt, they had a little bit of trouble running state government this morning. A blackout cut power to the state capitol and to about half the city of Frankfurt. Power was restored to the State House within about an hour, but much of the city was kept in the dark for the better part of the morning. And I don't guess, Chuck Taylor, that we can blame that on the weather. Was there any foul weather around Frankfurt today?
No, not at all. They had clouds and maybe a few sprinkles, but that was it. There are a few sprinkles around right now, but the trend is going to be for better weather, at least for the next 24 hours, and that's good news, certainly, for the steamboat race tomorrow. And you won't have any problems heading for the big fireworks extravaganza tonight, but you will want to bundle up. We have temperatures right now in the mid-50s, and later on around 9:30 tonight, temperatures will be in the upper 40s to around 50, and that certainly is very chilly for early May. Well, earlier this morning and throughout the day, we've seen a little bit of sunshine, but what we have is a big area of cold, unstable air over the Ohio Valley, and that is the cause of the cloudiness right now. That will all be moving out, and that's why we look for sunshine during the day tomorrow. One storm system remains over New England, and that brought some pretty heavy rainfall to southern parts of New England. There is an area of high pressure west of here, and that will move over us later on tonight and during the day tomorrow, so just look for very pleasant weather tomorrow with temperatures moving into the 60s. But what we are concerned with, and what we're going to be watching very carefully, is a warm front now over Texas, and you can see those bright white clouds over Texas on into Arkansas and Missouri. That's quite an area of shower and thunder shower activity, and that will be tracking in our direction, and that will probably mean some problems here starting on Thursday for the Pegasus Parade. Let's switch over to national radar and show you an area of light showers over Ohio, and there have been a few light sprinkles even in our neck of the woods, but there's that big area of precipitation now nosing into Arkansas and Missouri. There is some heavy thunderstorm activity over Oklahoma, and a severe thunderstorm watch has been posted down in that area. So that's what we'll be watching for the Pegasus Parade here on Thursday. Let's look at some chilly temperatures in the region right now. It's only 49 degrees up in Indianapolis, where it is mostly cloudy. West and southwest of here, there has been a better supply of sunshine, and that's where the warmer weather is. It's 60 at Evansville, and it's 64 degrees at Paducah. Right now in Louisville, we have mostly cloudy skies with a little sun breaking through from time to time. Our temperature is 56. Humidity is 42%. The wind is out of the northwest at 13 miles an hour, and with that brisk wind today, it made it feel even colder than the 50s. The barometer 30.05, and the barometer is steady. Our high for the day was only 58. It should have been up around 73. Our low temperature was 47 degrees. We've had no precipitation in the past 24 hours, and for the month of May, we've only had a trace of rainfall. So tomorrow, high pressure moves off to the east. We see nice weather here, but starting tomorrow night, clouds will be rolling in, and then the showers will be arriving here on Thursday, and after that, it looks like an unsettled weather pattern right through Derby Day, as we indicated yesterday. Here's the forecast for tonight: clearing and cold. Bundle up if you're going to the fireworks display. For tomorrow, good weather. It looks like great weather for the steamboat race, mostly fair and warmer, a high of 67. Look for light southwest winds. It will cloud up tomorrow night with a low temperature of 50. Showers will be here for the Pegasus Parade. And like we indicated yesterday, I think you may need your raincoat or your umbrella on Derby Day. We'll have more on that coming up at 6.
Chuck, we just can't have that. We've had such good luck for so many years now. I remember the one downpour we had right after the Derby 6 or 7 years ago, but it's been just beautiful weather every Derby.
I know. This will be my 13th Derby, and I can only recall a couple of times when we had to really pull out the umbrellas. But we'll be able to give you a much better forecast as we get closer to Derby Day.
Okay, I'll cross my fingers if it helps. Thank you, Chuck. When the 5:30 Action 11 News continues, Gene West has the latest on a hospital merger.
Also, Steve Crowley says it's a good idea to save your mutual funds for a rainy day.
Princess Di, beautiful and glamorous. She's a retailer's dream.
She's an absolute wonderful paper doll of a fashion leader.
Cashing in on Diana, the worldwide fascination with the princess.
Plus, take a look at everything you've ever wanted in Kentucky Derby memorabilia and more. Find out what's hot and what's new, and the controversy behind the licensing of Derby products.
That's tonight on PM Magazine. And don't forget the lottery drawing at 7:28 on WHAS TV.
In the real world, there are few guarantees. But when it comes to buying a waterbed, one company guarantees you the lowest prices every day of the year. That company is Big Sur Waterbeds. Our 30-day price guarantee means we will not be undersold. The Nassau bed is just $269.99. Or buy all 3 pieces for under $22 a month. The lowest prices guaranteed. Big Sur Waterbeds, America's largest. 7635 Shelbyville Road, across from the Oxmoor Mall in Louisville.
Outstanding heart and cardiology care. We have a psychiatric clinic. At Methodist Evangelical, there is an excellent ophthalmology department. Their urology service is outstanding. Each of us have something to offer that the other does not. As you know, both of us do obstetrics, and so that's something that we both have a great interest in.
Norton Hospital, while touting expertise in various specialties, does not have a primary care clinic. The merger would solve that, but separating the services between hospitals is still undecided.
How all of the services will be divided, which services will be in which hospitals, which will be duplicated, how we're going to do that is something we don't know yet.
Now, approval from the charities and the boards could come as early as this summer, but it could take 2 to 5 years to complete the merger.
We'll be watching. Thanks, Gene.
Okay.
Some folks are taking big chunks of money from their mutual funds and other savings accounts for big purchases. Money Pro Steve Crowley says that's okay as long as you don't spend too much of your nest egg.
Where would you get the down payment money to buy a new car? What about the cash you need to put down on a new home?
Well, according to a recent study by Dalbar Financial Services, a research firm in Boston, 8 out of 10 investors are cashing in their mutual funds to buy homes, cars, and other big-ticket items. Now, that's not what mutual funds were designed to do. So says this man.
Lewis Harvey headed up the Dalbar survey, which asked 15 mutual fund companies to send questionnaires, asking investors who were cashing in their chips, so to speak, why they were doing it. Some surprising results.
It showed that people on the whole were holding mutual funds for about 4 to 5 years, which is much too short a period of time if you're thinking about the average age in the population of about 40 years old. They should be holding it on average for more like 15 or 20 years.
Actually, stock mutual funds, in my opinion, are a terrific place for short and long-term savings because over time, most of them do outperform the interest rates we get at the bank. Specifically, a 12 to 20% return on average per year is what we should expect from mutual funds over the long haul, meaning 5 to 10 years.
So I say use mutual funds primarily for achieving important long-term goals and building nest eggs for living the good retirement life or for putting the kids through college comfortably many years from now. But don't think you're doing something wrong if you cash out mutual fund savings to buy a home, put a chunk of money down on a new car, or even take an extended dream vacation. Mutual fund savings are there to serve you and your lifestyle as long as you don't clean out your savings frivolously. Since the crash of October 1987, stock mutual funds have been somewhat out of vogue. I predict this will be changing soon. Steve Crowley for the 5:30 Action 11 News.
And still to come, a Derby-style tea party.
Where? Nexus.
Where did you
It's
get
in salon.
that hair?
Only in salons.
Excuse me if I stare. Where?
Nexus.
Where?
Nexus.
Where did you
Nexus.
get that
Only in
hair?
salons.
Ooh, Nexus. Ooh, Nexus.
Nexus Products, where you go for beautiful hair.
Are today's rising interest rates on home equity second mortgage loans giving you nightmares?
Stop! Wake up to the rates at the money store. Our low fixed rates lock in affordable monthly payments, so you'll never have to worry about rising rates again. Borrow up to $100,000 or more. Quick approval for qualified homeowners. That's Money Store magic. Call toll-free, dial 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Year in
and year out, a lot of lawnmowers just stop dead in their tracks. What seemed a real bargain at first was a real burden in the end. But there's one more that's built to last, Snapper. And for a limited time, we'll give you from $20 to $500 for your old mower when you buy a new Snapper, the lawn machine that won't run itself into the ground.
St. Matthew's Feed and Seed, Louisville. Isaac Small Engine, New Washington, Indiana. And Highview Mower Shop, Louisville.
There's a great new taste you can't put down. Kahn's Corndogs, they just hit town. Hey, Mom, we want Kahn's Corn Dogs. Corn Dogs. Kahn's hot dogs and cornbread, heat and eat. It's a meal on a stick that can't be beat. Hey, Mom, we want Kahn's Corn Dogs. Corn Dogs. Get them at your store in the hot dog section. Kahn's Corn Dogs are pure perfection. Hey, Mom, we want Kahn's Corn Dogs. Corn Dogs.
Lawn and garden projects got you up a tree. Do what I do. Before you start, make a stop at Levy.
Spectracide 6000 rids your lawn and garden of ants, fleas, and grubs. Get it at Levy's for just $6.88 after rebate. Levy's has a great selection of gas and charcoal grills, the right size for any family, on sale.
Levy's helps you do it right the first time, no matter what you're digging into.
Now here's Gary Rodemeyer.
Thanks, Melissa. Coming up on the Action 11 News at 6 o'clock, a muddy Ohio River full of debris. The great steamboat race is still on for tomorrow, but the Coast Guard is warning pleasure boaters to beware. Kentucky's first lottery game nears an end while Indiana lawmakers decide whether they will create their own lottery. And Clarksville's nursing home says despite citations from the state, their patients are safe. And a live sneak preview of the Pegasus Parade, a float party, is next on Action 11 News at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks, Gary. Well, one of the most unusual Derby Festival events was held this afternoon on the infield of Senior House downtown. It was another call to the post, but it was not just another horse race.
Ready, set, go!
A half dozen of the more active seniors were in the irons astride broomstick horses. The smart money today was on the number 3 horse, a filly. There was even a mutual window where race fans could get a bet down.
2, 3, 6.
At the wire, it was a late stretch run by the number 2 horse, which was good enough to win. Cora Reynolds settled for second money, but awfully proud to be in Kentucky on Derby Week.
Good-looking women, fast horses, and great whiskey.
You did a good job, but you faded in the stretch.
Well, I felt sorry for the rest of them, really. I knew they were kind of losing wind, and I didn't want to, you know, you got to let the guy win. Secret is, let the man think he's better.
After the races, more than 500 seniors danced the afternoon away to the sounds of the mellow tone. What a fun afternoon. Incidentally, no real money was wagered on the broomstick races. The lucky bettors received a lottery ticket instead. The order of finish was 2, 3, and 4.
I probably would have lost. I'd have bet on the filly. That's it for us. Thanks a lot for watching.
Action 11 News coming your way next.